Hey everyone, Ben and Adam here for Out of Lives. Hey Adam, how you doing, mate?
I'm not bad, yourself?
Good, I'm very well, thank you, mate. I'm even better for us actually having had some news on Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah, I mean, not only has it been ages since we've actually sat and spoke about anything, it's been ages since we've had a state of play to actually speak about. So it's good that they're back.
It is. There was a Ratchet and Clank one last month, maybe? I think.
Oh, yeah.
But we saw a lot of the same
right,
stuff,
yeah.
right? We saw a lot of the same stuff that they'd already kind of put out. Whereas, I think we'll listen to Matthias, but just chat over his awkward, out of sync audio for a moment. But yeah, you played Horizon, I played Horizon. I think from that year, it featured very highly on both of our kind of lists of favourite games.
Yeah, and that's despite the fact I never even finished it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's one of those, I've loved it I've played it, attempted to finish it twice and never managed it, but I've loved it every time I've played it.
Yeah.
So God only knows why I haven't actually finished it. That's a me problem, not a game problem.
So Forbidden West, we'll jump into that in a moment as well. But I mean, straight off the bat, it looks absolutely nuts, right? All through this, it's just showcased as this insane graphical kind of powerhouse of a game.
Yeah, they're saying it's captured on PS5, and it looks like they've captured it in a film reel. It's, you know, like straight off a cinema screen. That is looking really good.
Yeah, completely. And just those little particle effects that run through the leaves that kind of blow away to the reflections off his face from sort of the sweat and the blood running down and things like.
Yeah.
The level of detail has just taken another step up.
Yeah, I mean, between this, Ratchet and Clank, and the Kena Bridge of Spirits that we've seen some of as well. You know, the bar is climbing very, very high very quickly for this new generation of games, because it's impressive as anything, and these are games that, some of them anyway, that are coming out on both. I think Horizon's coming out on PS4 as well.
Yeah.
So if it looks anything close to this good on that as well, I'll be amazed.
I think my PS4 will just instantly shut down as soon as I try and load this game up. I don't know how they can optimize it down for PS4 without it either running like a Harrier jump jet or just not running at all.
Yeah, I know how it's going to go. It's going to take 2 minutes to load, and then 5 seconds later it's going to burst into flames. That's my prediction for how this will go. I mean, it'll finally push me to buy a PS5 when I burn out my PS4 trying to play this.
That'll be it. That's exactly what will happen. The PS5 numbers will shoot up because none of them will work anymore.
Become a very expensive game all of a sudden.
Yes.
So no, it's not just 70 quid anymore. No, it's also the 500 quid that I need for the console.
What I love about this is obviously it's showing us kind of Aloy running through the environment and stuff. It's all very open still, but there's parts of this where it almost doesn't show you that direct path. So when she was running along that log and she kind of looked left and then just jumped onto another moss-covered log, that wasn't... It didn't look like you could actually go there. It wasn't sort of signified in that normal way that platformers do by having a yellow marker or something by it to show you.
Yeah, the previous Horizon, they had all the yellow paint kind of on stuff and yellow ropes attached to things that would tell you what you need to do, where you could climb on things. Whereas this is definitely a lot more just kind of natural into the environment. So we see a little bit later on that they've added it to the focus time.
Yes.
That'll highlight grab points and things for you, which is a very handy addition. I'm surprised that wasn't in the first one. But.
Yeah, I suppose they didn't quite have that in mind at the time to add that in as that feature, but they just, as most open world games do, painted some of the environments to signify that is where you can go. This is, using lots of different stuff to kind of just allow it to be open, whilst also looking incredibly natural. I think we see that point now here where she pings her focus. Yeah,
there it is. We also see in our 3 second another interesting new addition for your traversal Traversal.
Yep.
Grapples!
A little grapple hook, I know, it's cool.
Because of course there's grappling. Because everyone has to have a grapple.
That's it now. But, I mean, certain games, Breath of the Wild being one of them, has kind of, not ruined open world games, but it's kind of set it on another trajectory, hasn't it? That you can kind of start to look at having worlds where you can kind of go anywhere you want across the environment by having various tools to get you there.
It's good because Breath of the Wild's becoming less the exception and more your foundation for what you're supposed to do in an open world and what you're able to do.
Completely.
And it's good to see everyone kind of taking up that challenge that Nintendo kind of threw down on that one.
Yeah.
And compared to the first Horizon as well, this has obviously got a lot of additional verticality to it, up and down.
Completely.
It's a brave man that puts water levels in his game.
I know. I do appreciate that Aloy has a device now that means she can just breathe underwater forever, essentially.
Thank God, because that would have been horrific without it. Really would.
Yeah, it would have been difficult. Timing everything, coming up and going back under and stuff. It's, you know, something that I was fine in. I suppose my most recent example would be the rebooted Tomb Raider games, where you had constant kind of water spaces to be able to jump up into when you were running out of air and things. So I appreciate with this that they're just like, nah, just stay underwater, don't worry about it. Technology, why not?
Yeah, that's a very good way of getting around a lot of those problems, because everyone has stories of games that have water levels that they absolutely hate if they've been playing games for any length of time. So
absolutely.
Taking one of the major kind of things that annoys everyone about them away straight from the word go is a good way of getting around it.
Completely. What do you think of the new robot dinosaurs so far? I think we've seen kind of ones that they're more raptor-like and more bird-like than the Watchers were, like the one that this guy's riding at the moment, and then we've got this giant mammoth-looking one as well. Yeah.
So it's one of the things that's been most impressive about them from the start anyway, is the design language that goes into these, because they're very intricately detailed, they're very functional looking.
Yep.
All of the parts on them, you can see how they would be pieced together, and you can actually see almost the signs of the evolution that they've went through as machines to get to where they are. You know, there's bits and pieces on them that you think, it's strange that looks like, you know, something from, you know, like a grabber thing, but it's turned it into its mouth and all that.
Yeah.
You kind of see recognisable like tools and stuff that you would see kind of in the world today, and it's really interesting the way that they've designed them all into that. They're very distinct looking.
Yeah, be interesting. We must have had 16 to 20-ish different types in the first game, so it will be interesting to see how many of those make an appearance in this, or if it is just a completely new cast of you know, enemy sort of dinosaurs to play with and fight.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to see some back, if not all of them, as well as the additional ones. You'll probably find as well that they're kind of almost Pokemon style it, with like the Aloy versions of previous Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So you see machines that are very similar, but with the kind of newer design language that fits the region kind of in them.
Yeah.
I imagine you see some of them.
That would be cool. Definitely.
I mean, they have the big tall giraffe, the tall neck ones, and like the ones that look like T-Rexes. They're going to put them back in. Let's be real.
Yeah, the Thunder Jaws.
They're very impressive looking, so there's no way that they're not gonna.
Completely. Yeah, unless we'll see how they've kind of built on that. But you know, when you watch something like Jurassic Park, it's like we've got T-Rex and we've got Velociraptors. What can we do to make them? We can't just use them again, and you know, you get like Spinosaurus and all of those other kind of bigger dinosaurs that they then put in. So it'd be interesting to see how they do that in this. Whether, you know, we're getting some underwater combat, so there'll be some bigger underwater dinosaurs as well to sort of contest with and things.
Yeah, they're going to move away from just having the kind of crocodile type ones.
Yes.
You're going to have some different types for the underwater style.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing a bit of the differentiation on the land-based one by the fact that they're showcasing the mammal. the mammoth, because that's obviously big and bulky, you know, as opposed to the way the T-Rexes are, which are a bit more kind of agile.
Yep. Yeah, completely.
That sort of stuff. So you're seeing a wee bit of the differences that they're going to have there. There's obviously going to be a lot more armour on the mammoth, but it's not going to be quite as easy to turn to try and get to you when it's trying to chase you down.
Completely. Yeah, I did like in the game, you know, that each of them have different things that you can shoot to either disable them or take armour and things like that off of. So it'd be cool to see how those are designed to be able to do that.
Yeah, getting into the nitty gritty of exactly how, you know, strategizing the best ways to take them on, and there's plenty of new tools and stuff that they've showcased as well. Like we saw earlier in the fight, she's got on her spear thing, like the power up module type things that she has. And they mention, you know, they've built combos into the game a little more this time, which is interesting. So seeing how they work and how complex they're going to be is going to be interesting.
Yeah, completely.
See how useful they are.
And it will be...
everyone has the classic, you know, normal attack, heavy attack, which I think was in the first one to a certain extent. Just interesting to see how they're going to build out that element of adding to the game.
Yeah,
and Aloy she's a much more experienced, you know, adventurer or hunter type person now, so she's going to be developing these tricks to turn things into her
melee combat
all the time.
Melee combat always felt like a last resort in the first game. It was a lot more kind of use your bow and arrow, use the kind of the big sort of harpoon with the rope on it to kind of tie things down. You had various different bombs and things like that, and it's showcased again here the different kind of arsenal that Aloy has got to employ. So it'd be cool to see how they improve or build upon that as well, and the different kinds of tools she has at her disposal, like this, you know, big sticky kind of bombs to be able to get away a little bit.
Yeah, upgrading away slightly from just having the slingshot. You know, that just throws, as you say, bombs and stuff out. You had the kind of javelin that she threw that exploded as well. That's going to be an interesting way of you know, targeting weak points to knock stuff off them. And maybe even like disable armor and things like that.
Yeah, and also this, being able to pick up, you know, weapons and things that have fallen to use to your advantage as well. So it's not just what you've got in your arsenal, it's what you can find on the ground too and employ to help you.
Running away very quickly. It's always a part of the strategy that you need to have.
Yeah.
Never be afraid to do that.
And this is cool. I really love this.
Grapple and glide.
Grapple and glide.
Can't beat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's another thing. You're adding verticality into the game when you're going up the way. You know, the fall damage becomes much more of a problem.
Yes. Yeah. Very much.
And even taking the fall damage out in such a realistic kind of setting, you have to come up with a relatively believable way of doing that, and electronic glider thingy certainly fits the bill.
Yeah, completely. Again, I know I said at the beginning that it looks absolutely nuts, but even just in those fights, just the explosions, the particles from where the mammoth was kind of firing those shots towards her along the ground, and the way that it kind of sort of trained through the sand and stuff, like just the level of detail is something else. And I really hope that this isn't kind of a vertical slice of the game, you know, as sometimes we get with these kinds of trailers. This is like a removed element that they've just really put a load of detail in, and then when we get into there, it's not quite as detailed as it would be. But I hope with, you know, the power of PlayStation 5 that this is it. This is exactly what we're going to get.
Yeah, that's certainly the hope, because that's the big caveat with these is, you know, with the SSD and stuff like that now, I can't believe that it's actually that quick loading and transitioning between the gameplay and the cutscenes and stuff like that. But there is also the possibility, with it being pre-roll, that it's been edited slightly to make it look that wee bit more impressive. So that is the big caveat. But if it's anything close to like that, and when people get it into their real machines, then it's going to be
We hope you
It's going to be
are
one of the best
as
looking
excited about
games
it
of
as
the
we
year,
are.
whenever it comes,
Yeah.
whatever year it is that comes out.
Yes, that's the thing. We didn't get a release date at
we
the
have
end of
you
this,
here.
and I think
We
it's
would
a
like to
little bit
spotlight
too
some of
early.
the new
Sony have been a little
elements
bit
you have just
cagey in
seen
terms
in
of
our
giving their
gameplay
release
capture.
dates at the moment, so I
And to
wasn't
help with that,
expecting
please
one.
welcome Ben McCaw,
But
narrative director on Horizon Forbidden
is it
West.
going to be a case of, you know, we'll get another
Thanks,
one of
Matthijs,
these
and hello
maybe
to all our viewers.
September-ish sort of time, a little bit more of
Horizon Forbidden
a
West
look
is
at
set
Horizon again,
1,000 years in Earth's future
and then
after
possibly
a
a
global
release
catastrophe.
date, maybe at the
People
end
live
of the
on in
year,
primitive tribes,
you know,
but
first
they're
quarter
no
of next year
longer the
maybe.
dominant species.
Yeah,
Giant
I mean,
animal-like
it's one of those,
machines
it
now
can't
roam
be
the
too
land,
much longer
and they're
because
extremely
why
dangerous.
develop a PS4
The
version?
machines aren't
Yeah,
the
if
they're
only
gonna-
threat
if it's
in the
gonna
Forbidden
be-
West.
If it's going to be
Strange
the
red
latter half
light
of
is
next year,
spreading across the
PS4
land,
version
and it won't be
feels
long
almost kind of
before it
redundant at that
strangles
point.
Completely.
all life.
Yep.
Yeah, because
Aloy,
it'll be
our hero,
the
is
only
the
game
only
doing
one
that
who can
probably
stop
by
the
then.
blight. But to do
And I mean,
that,
we've had
she and her
Ratchet and
companions
Clank.
will have to comb through the
That's either
ruins
just
of
come
the
out
old
or
world
just
to
about to
find
come
the
out, and that's not got a
technology
PS4 version.
No, nor did
in this
Returnal
quest,
either.
Aloy
Yeah.
has sent her loyal
So
friend
it seems
Aaron
strange
into
that they
the
picked
remains
this
of
one
San
to do that,
Francisco
but
to find a crucial
know.
piece of
Yeah,
There
technology.
must be a reason for it.
Aaron
Yeah,
other
encounters
than-
bravery
It's kind of one
from
of
a
their
rebel
bigger
faction
titles,
of
isn't it?
the
I think
Tanakh
after the
tribe.
success of
They are
Horizon
vicious
Zero
fighters, but even
Dawn.
worse,
So
they've acquired
I
the
can
power
see why they
to
want
override machines.
to kind of push it out to as
rescue
many
Aaron,
people as
Aloy
possible.
winds
But
up
also, this
fighting
is kind of a system
First,
seller. You know,
she
for
must
me,
cross the ruins
this is
to
the
reach their
this is
camp.
kind of the game that I will
We face a lot of obstacles
search
as we
for a
traverse the ruins of
PS5
San
for and
Francisco.
spend time to
To
kind of look
overcome
for
them, we've given
one when
Aloy
it comes
some
out. If
great
I
new
don't
tools.
have one kind of by that
Using
time.
the focus scanner,
Yeah.
you can highlight spots
Yeah, I mean,
that allow
Ratchet
free
and Clank was the
climbing
first
anywhere
game that
in the
made me
open
wish I
world.
had a PS5. That
The
this
pool
is
caster
certainly
speeds
on the
up
list of
climbing and
games
can
that
get you quickly out
will
of
make me
trouble.
definitely get one.
Yeah.
It's on the
shield
list
ring allows
already
you to
anyway,
safely
saving up
descend
for it
from
and all the
great
rest of it,
heights
but
or surprise enemies from above.
you know, it jumps up the priority list a
With
little
the
bit
diving
more when
mask,
there's a
you can
game
stay
like
submerged
this
as long as you like.
waiting
Take
for
your
you.
time to plan
Yeah,
a path around
completely.
amphibious machines. Or
Um,
boost through
kind of
strong
they
underwater
they
currents.
sort of wrap up now from the state of play. So have you got
And
any
to
final
speed up
thoughts
overland
on kind of what
travel,
we've seen
a
or what you
variety
want
of
from
machines can be
Horizon Forbidden
overridden
West?
and used as mounts or in combat.
I'd like to finish it.
Combat in
Yeah.
Horizon
That-
Forbidden
that's more
West
on me
puts a
than the
strong
game.
emphasis on tactics
That's
and
fair.
player
Yeah.
choice.
No, I
Close range combat, the spear
just
is
one
an
of them.
excellent option.
keep harping
There's
on
a
about
range
it,
of
but
combos
the
that
visuals
have
just look
different uses
incredible.
and
And
effects.
from the first game, there's a very
Soldiers have a
solid
unique set of special
gameplay base
abilities,
there that
one of which can be
they're
used to
adjusting and
knock back
adding
nearby
to in a
enemies.
really interesting way.
The spear can be charged to create a high
It
damage
feels like the right
effect that can
kind
take
of
down even the
balance
stronger
between
enemies.
evolution and revolution that
A
they're
wide
adding.
array of
Yeah,
different
absolutely.
weapons is
That-
quickly
They're not
accessible
throwing
via the
everything
weapon
out that you know,
A
but
slingshot
they're
with
adding enough
adhesive
new
grenades
stuff
to
in that
temporarily stall
it's going to
machines.
feel different
Bows with arrows
regardless.
that can strip
Yeah.
armor and
in
expose
the
weak
best
spots.
possible way.
Very much.
powerful
There was a
launcher
moment
that
just then when
spikes
she
that
did
explode
sort of
on
like
impact.
that strike with her
Smoke
spear,
bombs that
and
temporarily blind enemies.
where it
Or you
looks
can
like
pick
it
up
created a
weapons
little
shot off
crater
from
in the
machines.
ground, and you can see kind of even then
Full
when she
game
picks
has
the
many
weapon up
more
off the
unique
ground, it's
weapons,
embedded
and each
in
of
this
them can
little
be
sort of
upgraded
divot
for
around
workbench,
of
but
sand,
more on
so
that
it's not just
Yeah.
lying on the ground. It's works with the environment
Player
in a
will need
certain
to be
way. So
smart
again,
and
just that
creative,
level of
use all
detail
of the combat
looks
options we have
nuts.
shown to deal with a
Yeah,
large
it certainly
variety of
does.
deadly machines.
Looking forward to
Sun wings
seeing
in the
when it comes
sky,
out.
Claw Striders and Tremotus
And I'm
on
sure
land.
everyone on PC will be
Stepwells
looking
in the
forward to
water.
it in 5 or
Even
6 years
seemingly
after
harmless
that.
burrowers that you saw briefly swim by.
Yeah,
They
an
are
interesting
all
point. I
dangerous,
wonder how
even
quickly
more so when overridden
we'll
by
start
human
to see
rebels.
that a little bit more. We know Uncharted
We've only
4 is
scratched the surface
possibly
of
the
the
next
rebel
game to be
threat,
coming out.
as Aloy will fight them in many forms
from
throughout
the
game.
exclusive sort of
And to
catalogue
defeat them,
onto
she must
PC.
explore the open
I mean,
world
I can
to
see that
uncover the
gap
secret behind
getting
their power.
smaller and
And how
smaller.
that
You know, maybe
secret is
Bloodborne,
related to her
not
quest
Bloodborne, sorry,
to stop the blight.
Demon's Soul,
This is just
the
one
remake
the
of,
mysteries she'll unravel
might
as
be
her
one that
journey
comes a
through
little
the
bit
Forbidden
sooner
West
to
takes
PC,
many
and
twists
then maybe
and
that
turns.
gives us, you know,
It's
Horizon
time to
within
wrap
kind of
it up.
18 months to
We
2
will have
years
more updates
coming out on
closer to
PC,
launch,
and then
everyone
looking
here at
even
Guerrilla can't
more
wait for you to
insane.
experience the full game.
Yeah, well,
Thank
well
you
that's
for
the point
watching.
where they just click the unlock button and all of their settings and go, have at it, modders.
Yeah.
Because there will always be some.
Hi everyone.
I
My
interrupted
name is
you in what you
Matthijs
were
de Jong.
saying.
I'm the game director on
And I've
Horizon
forgotten
Forbidden West.
I lost my train of
We
thought
are
big
a
time
ambitious
there.
project. Since then, the team has continued to make
Yeah, no,
great progress on
sorry.
the development of the
The
game.
next generation
We are
feels
very
like
excited
a step
and
up
honored to give you an update
properly
on
now.
the state of play.
It was one thing,
In the
you
countdown
know,
video
I was
leading up to this
been
moment,
raving
we have
about
already
the
seen glimpses of
SSDs
the
since
Forbidden
they
West.
announced that that's what they
But
were
now we
doing
have
because of
something truly
the changes
special
in the
for you.
load times and
Almost
all that kind of
14
stuff.
minutes
But
of gameplay
now we're
captured
seeing
on PlayStation 5.
the step up in
And
the
you don't have to
graphics
wait any
and
minute of gameplay,
the
captured on
gameplay
PlayStation
levels
5.
and stuff that they
You
can
don't
do
have
with
to
it.
wait any
Ratchet and
longer.
Clank's
Let's
doing
get right
interesting
to it.
stuff gameplay wise,
Yeah.
using the power of the SSD, and now we're seeing. I mean, Ratchet and Clank looks incredible as well, but now we're seeing film level, CGI and stuff. You know, you can almost replace all of the characters with real actors, and you wouldn't notice the difference almost. It's looking that good.
It's okay.
I did see an image that had it gave a close-up onto Aloy's face, and she just had that, as everyone does, has that very light level of hair sort of on her cheeks and things like that. Again, getting to that level of detail, we are getting a little bit kind of uncanny valley. Horizon has even though it's getting a little bit more realistic, it still has a colour palette and an art style to it that sort of differentiates it from just, sort of life. But it will be interesting to see at what point we get to where suddenly they can use like the Decima engine or something to just do photorealistic stuff. You just don't need people anymore.
No, you're injured. I have
Yeah,
to.
well, we can't be far off it. I mean, it makes the stuff they did in like the Rogue One and that look amateurish. With the people in that. We've gotten to that stage already. It's not taken long at all for it to be surpassed, like, just at a whole new level.
Yeah, completely. Good, so just a nice little shot to finish out on, just that environment, that level of light, the detail shown, the way Aloy's sort of moving through the environment. It's Horizon, but it's sort of the next level of, which is exactly what you want from a sequel to sort of a marquee title. You want it to be the game that everyone wants to play because it's doing new things and because it looks and sounds and feels absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Well, thank you very much for joining me, Adam, to run through the Horizon Forbidden West state of play.
Thanks for having us.
That's no
Sorry,
worries.
we've ran long.
It's all right. That's okay. We've got as much time as we want, really, to chat about these things, based upon my rudimentary editing skills. But yeah, this is coming out at some point. Adam and I are both excited for it. I think, as are a few other people, like Lucy at Out of Lives. So we'll definitely be covering this a little bit more. Let us know what you think about it in all the places you can do that. Out of Lives Network on Twitter. You can go to outoflives.net as well and chat to us there, or join us in our Discord and we can throw a link up. I think it's on the Twitter anyway. Again, thank you for joining me again, Adam. We'll get together soon to see whatever PlayStation throw out next, I guess.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Perfect. Thanks everybody. Like, share, subscribe, all that shit. Take it easy. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
www.outoflives.net